Hey guys, Tyler here. We're doing something I wish we did a long time ago. We're using Anchor to host our podcast, which means a lot of great things for us. One, we're no longer paying a monthly fee to do the show, which is great for just two guys that have full-time jobs and just do this for fun. Two, it's also a creation tool where we can record and edit the podcast through Anchor on our phone or a computer, which is awesome. I no longer have all these different services to edit the show, record the show, do everything. It does it for you all in one place. It truly is everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Three, it will distribute the podcast for you everywhere to Apple, Spotify, whatever pods or casts. It'll do for you with no hassle. Four, and this is the best part, guys. You don't need millions of listeners to make a podcast, which is something I always thought you needed. Anyway. This place will help you make money for doing podcasts with one listener or millions. Something I never thought I'd be able to say.
What smells like
awesome. Anchor truly is a really great service that I wish I would have known about years ago. All you have to do today is go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm. Woke up episode 453 of Drunk History Podcast. I'm host as always. I'm Tyler. Joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Gables. What's up, brother? Wow, that was really fast.
Not only was it really fast though, but your audio kept cutting out as you were doing the intro.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll do it. I'm gonna do it again. All right, we're gonna do like a rewind thing here. I'm gonna stop the intro. We're gonna do it again. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Welcome to episode 453 of Drunk History Podcast. I'm host as always. I'm Tyler Joe. Join me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Gables. What's up, buddy?
Well, you know what? I'm doing pretty good. Not just good, I'm doing great right now because I'm off of work. I am fully focused upon possibly getting some sort of gameplay this weekend. But on top of that, I am happy in regards to the last Nintendo Direct that we had this past week. But other than that, though, I am just happy just to be relaxing and podcasting like usual.
Yeah, look at that. Samesies, McDonald's and beer, right? You know?
Always a good mix.
Yeah, right? Feels good to be back. You know, it's only been a week, but it's always been too long. But yeah, anyways, I'm Tyler. I said it really fast. I'm Tyler. That's Colonel Gables. I'm also doing pretty good here, Gables. It's been a little weird. I mentioned last week, in case you don't remember. Just kind of a quick little thing off the top I mentioned. Stomach was a little messed up last Saturday. Felt fine Sunday for the most part. And I felt fine all week. Totally was fine. Today, same issue. My mom called me. I haven't talked to her in a few days. And she called me just seeing how I was doing. And we were talking. I'm like, last Sunday was her birthday. And I was telling her, I'm like, my stomach was killing me all day yesterday. And I was talking to her, and she's like, I told her, I'm like, it's so weird. Like, the exact same thing happened to me where last Saturday, Iowa football team had a 2:30 kickoff last Saturday. 2:40, 2:45, boom, that's when it hit me. Like, and it was just rest of the day, like running in and out of the bathroom, just upset stomach, and pooping up a storm. And but I felt fine all morning. There wasn't like a build up to it. It was just like bam, shotgun blast to the asshole. And then same today. Felt fine all day. You know, I had my coffee at 7 o'clock in the morning, like I normally do on a Saturday morning, which is, I just gotta say, Gables, is there anything better than that first sip of coffee on the day off? I don't think there is.
To be honest with you, I'm struggling to actually think of something else better.
Yeah, it's just when you sit on the couch after you got all done cleaning, and you know you just sit down, and you take that sip of coffee, and you're just like, oh man, this is nice. Like there's like a 30-second period where you're just in heaven. But anyways, I did all that. I felt totally fine. And then 10 minutes in the game, 2:30 kickoff, about 2:40, boom, shotgun blast to the asshole. I got to poop again. And it's same thing all day. And I feel better now. At least I hope, knock on wood here. if there might be a pause somewhere in this recording podcast where I'm going to have to run off. I'm sure the beer is going to help settle the stomach. I am a quarter bottle deep into Pepto though, but I was telling mom about it, and she's like, "Are you just like getting like really bad anxiety from the football game?" I'm like, "Oh my god, what if I am like is football giving me? Am I getting diarrhea from football? Is that what's happening here?
Because your team's facing off against against another team, and all of a sudden it's
It
like,
was
oh, okay, big game.
well, and it's just like, but the last 2 weeks I've been playing cupcakes or teams I should beat by 2 touchdowns,
Yeah.
double digits, and then, but you feel good all week, and then the game starts, and it's like you get that. Well, what if they fuck up here? And it's just like we've all been there. You feel good about the team, or it's just like, or like you're playing some cupcake, and you're like, they should beat them by 3 touchdowns, but then you get that what if in the back of your head kind of thing, and I think that's what it is. I think football is just giving me indigestion. It is. It is my Taco Bell, but I don't even get the pleasure of eating Taco Bell. Which
Well, that's a good analogy of that.
yeah, but I mean, I get the pleasure of them winning, but I'd rather just eat Taco Bell than sit there with 3 hours of anxiety and then pooping nonstop. But yeah, that's I don't know, I feel fine. It's I'm actually off this coming week, which is fucking awesome. So I feel pretty good about that. Been just kind of crawling to this week for a very long time now, since the day got put in back in April. So it's my first real break since E3 2019. I took a week off then, and I've had a few 3-day weekends over the last 2+ years. So but yeah, feels good that finally have a nice break. And I got a new game. Well, I'll talk about here a little bit later. And then also Netflix last week dropped the season 3 of Sex Education, which is a fantastic TV show. It's not what it sounds like. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not. It's a really charming, witty British TV show. And I kind of hate the name because when I tell people, I like, it's kind of like when you tell somebody you're a wrestling fan, he's like, yeah, you got they're like, all right, like you tell them, but then you're like, okay, I got 20 things I gotta say real fast. You gotta preface it with 20 different things. It's kind of the same thing. It's just a really charming TV show I love very much. And they announced today we're getting a fucking season 4, so that's awesome. I purposely held off for this week to watch the it's only 8 episodes, so I purposely held off this week though to watch the season because I wanted to watch it, and I burned through 4 episodes in a row today. The only problem though is it's not as racy as you think it would be. There's boobs and there's sex scenes, but it's not gratuitous. It's not like you're watching porn or Game of Thrones or something like that. But the sex scenes are 10 seconds, but they're usually you don't really see anything. Problem is though, I like to have my windows open during the day, so it's like I gotta pick my spots when I watch it. So it's like.
Oh man, yeah. Just imagining you having to watch that show or something like that with your windows open. All of a sudden, you just see random people passing by your freaking apartment, looking at it. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I had to do it early in the morning, before today, 2 o'clock in the morning. I woke up to a tickle on my arm. I'm like, I kind of woke up. I went this. It's a fucking spider in the bed. So I was up. I got up. I went out to the couch. I'm like, fuck it, I'm out. I'm going to the couch. I went to the fucking couch. I'm laying on the couch now. I'm like, I'm wide awake. I ain't going to bed. I was 4 in the morning, and I just popped on and watched 4 episodes in a row. And I took a 3-hour power nap later that day. But I did there. I watched it with all with the curtains closed and everything like that. Because yeah, that's my thing. And plus, right across the hall from me is the show apartment. Mm-hmm. So they constantly on the weekends have people they're showing the apartment to people. So it's and they walk right up the stairs, right where my TV is, and it's on the wall. So it's a 75-inch TV on the fucking wall. So if they were to walk by and see this, I'm like, I can't.
Or just hear it, he's like, you can't justify. It's like, oh, he's really enjoying himself in there.
It's the 30 seconds an episode that there's a sex scene, on average.
Just that random 30 seconds as they pass by your window.
Yeah, and then then there's a few attractive women that live around here, and I don't want them thinking. And there are some gay characters in the show, and there are gay sex scenes. Okay. And not there's anything wrong with that. Not just want to preface that. I'm not saying, but it's I don't want just to happen this attractive woman to walk by and think I'm watching gay porn or something. So these are things I think about. You know, the options are limited in this apartment
It's like, I
complex,
want your
Gables.
attention, but I don't want you to
Yeah,
think I'm that way.
yeah. It's like I don't really want you to see me watching a sex scene in general, but let alone if it's like a gay sex scene. Not like I said, totally cool if that's what you're into. Not doing that. I just don't want an attractive woman to think that possibly the gay guy lives here, you know, because I want to if we bump into each other, like I don't want that's the gay guy lives in this apartment. No, I want you to think that this guy's cool and you know maybe we should date. Um,
It's like you just randomly walk back into your room or something like that, and the people just staring through your window. It's like, oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah. So these are the things that go through my head. Maybe it's 'cause I drink too much coffee, so you get that you get the brain going a million miles an hour. But yeah, that's how I've been, Gables. I don't know what the fuck that was, but we are 10 minutes in this episode and we have done nothing yet. Uh, as far as what the point of the show is, if you don't know, this is not about me and my concerns about my neighbors seeing me watch porn, or my indigestion problems that I may or may not have. This is a video game podcast where I also drink beer sometimes, and Gables puts vodka in his McDonald's cup because he doesn't want to think that he doesn't want us to know that he's drinking, right?
Uh-huh. Yes.
It's
Vodka.
iced
We'll
it's
stick
iced
with
tea,
that.
isn't it? It's fucking iced tea. Is it Coke? It's Coke.
It's
It's
Diet
iced tea.
Coke.
Diet Coke. Oh god, it's the worst. It's the worst kind. Worst kind of soda.
Well, unless you just get a lot of ice in it.
Well, then you're just drinking watered down Diet Coke. That sounds worse. I would just rather drink the ice than Diet Coke with water in it.
Oh, it just takes a peculiar type of taste. Anyway.
Anyways, this is the video game podcast. We're talking about video games. So let's do that, Gables. I want to talk about. We had a nice, juicy, fat, 40-minute long direct
Yes.
on Thursday. Thank fucking God, because there ain't nothing else to talk about this fucking week. So this would have been a very boring podcast if this didn't happen. Pardon me if you're watching this on YouTube. The frame's dropping a little bit. I'm opening up a article here, so that's what happens when that happens. So anyways, I want to run through some of this. So I hate when I do this. So I found it's my pet peeve. I always talk about this, where when people when there's events, people don't just put them all into one article. They put them into multiple articles,
I hate
and
that.
then you might find the rundown, but they don't put the rundown in order. They just put it by biggest, and then they work their way down to the small shit. So we're just gonna maybe I can start from the bottom, work my way up. Maybe that makes more sense.
It just makes more sense, like with chronological order, the what came first and then what came last.
Yeah, it's just okay. Yeah. Oh no. Okay, it's not in order at all. So we're just gonna start with the top and work our way down because I want to save that last thing for the very end here. Then, so anyways, Gables, it ended with the one more thing was finally after nearly 4 years, December 2017, they announced this game. It is September 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Bayonetta 3. We have gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a very nice long trailer, and we have a year of 2022. What was your thoughts when we finally got this this update here?
That was it. It was actually pretty fascinating with it because, for one, the trailer starting off, you see the platinum inside, on one of the signs, which I automatically thought, okay, this is a platinum game and stuff. This is probably Bayonetta 3. Then I look, and the soldiers are battling against these these beings and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you see that dog from Astral Chain, and it gives you that what the fuck,
right?
what the hell is this? And all of a sudden it's like, no, at first, before even thing starts, there's a dog, right? Like almost like a golden retriever, and then all of a sudden, when we're replaced with the golden retriever, it's the freaking Cappy, not Cappy, but Pappy, or whatever the hell that mascot's name is.
I think it's Pappy.
Pappy.
That sounds about right.
So yeah, you have Pappy, right? But as soon as the monster goes forth, tries to take out Pappy and stuff, you see Bayonetta just go through. Now, when I saw Bayonetta, first and foremost and stuff, immediately I'm thinking of the little girl, because her hairstyle and the ribbon and stuff, even the way she wears her glasses and stuff, is very reminiscent to Kariza, or I think her name was. Mm. Also a reference to past Bayonetta games, but at the same time, it felt fantastic seeing an update for this game and also seeing how far along the gameplay is. I'm fairly excited to see how this whole this whole thing is in regards to summoning like a bunch of different creatures and stuff to attack like certain enemies and stuff. It looked like a set part to a different scene. Like you like know how in past Bayonetta games and stuff where you have these set stages and stuff, and you're battling a whole bunch of different monsters, like doing this and doing that, and like going for those freaking special attacks and stuff like that. Like for example, in this trailer, you see all like 5 Iron Maidens or something like that just pop off randomly and stuff, and just start shutting like the enemies and everything else inside of them and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you just see her battling inside of a subway. You're like, you don't know why she's battling a subway, but at the same time, it makes for good action.
Yeah.
But it was awesome seeing like that big old like that demon dog or something like remaking an appearance and stuff. But instead of like just doing the final attack and stuff like that, it actually goes forth. Just all of it comes out of like the dimension and stuff, and just goes and just starts attacking the enemy. And not only that, but you see like a spider and like some other type of attack in that trailer. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I saw the Bayonetta 3 trailer and everything else that was initially revealed inside of it was definitely fairly exciting. I did like a lot of that. I was kind of interested in seeing like she looks kind of a little bit more reserved back in terms of what she generally would look like in terms of the other Bayonetta games, where you know what, it's a platinum game. This is Bayonetta is some that it's balls to the wall pretty much. It's crazy, everything's going on. You're thinking, what the fuck is this? But yet I like this. This is so awesome and over the top. And it kind of felt weird that even though there were over the top things, it's like it felt like she was more reserved, more conservative in terms of like some starts. But at the same time, this is the first time we've actually had a chance to see gameplay and actual stuff going on. So there's definitely a lot of things that are not being shared and definitely not going to be in that regards maybe until E3 next year. So, hey,
Yeah.
it looked awesome. I will say this, it did look awesome.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it looked like Bayonetta, and which is a good thing. That's really, I think, for the most part, what we want is just more Bayonetta. It was kind of an interesting thing though. A couple people like in the industry, like on the journalist side, were talking about. I guess like after they finally announced it, they were saying that like some of the things they were hearing was that I guess with Bayonetta 3 they were trying to make it more open world.
Huh.
And maybe that was why we've had such a long gap in between
Huh.
the announcement and then that. So I didn't look like so maybe they scrapped that idea and maybe they spent some time trying to get that to work. It didn't happen. There's a plane flying above my head, so hopefully uh, Jack Trennan's listening to us right now. But that's a very old inside joke. Anyways, yeah, I don't. It looked more like what we expected from Bayonetta 2. This looks like a sequel to that. I think it looks fantastic. My only thing with Bayonetta, and I've talked about this even at the time when I played Bayonetta 2 at the time, was I always just feel uncomfortable. It's kind of like the sex education thing in a way, where it's like it always just kind of makes me uncomfortable to play the game. I don't want other people to see me playing the game, just because of like the over sexualization of it, the fact that her hair is her clothes, and as she does attacks, she like gets more and more naked, and they very obviously want you to look at her in a pretty sexual way. And it's like Catherine. Like I love that game. Makes me very uncomfortable sometimes to play that game. Um, but
I don't know.
yeah, I think it looks great.
You know what, man? It's like I always thought more or less the Bayonetta character kind of looked like more kind of an empowered sort of thing, in terms of
Yeah,
like an
no, I'm
empowered
not.
figure in that regards. Personally, I'm not saying like anything bad or anything that you said and stuff like that because I think that's pretty cool too, because I understand, it's like it makes you kind of feel uncomfortable with some bits and stuff because yeah, a lot of those actions from the previous games and stuff, like her hair like completely like disintegrates into her attack or some of the from like things like that. I understand that, but at the same time, it's like yeah, I'm actually I definitely am like comfortable in regards to like watching it now only because it's like I'm so like focused like upon like I've kind of gotten a little bit desensitized in regards to that because what you see one crazy thing about Bayonetta, you've almost seen it all in regards to
You've
it.
seen one tentacle porn, you've seen them all. Yeah, I get it. No, it's just more so maybe it's like a insecurity thing about me where it's just like, I talked about that in the past with like my ex, where like, she did not like it when I played Catherine, or the fact that I bought like a collector edition of Catherine, or I think like that was kind of like the like that worst fear coming true kind of thing, where it's like, I don't know, like I would just hate it like if you're if like my mom came over and saw me playing this game, like how do I explain this to her? Kind of thing. Like, how do I explain this to
Well,
someone who
first
doesn't
off,
know it? Like,
I would never play that type of game with my folks present. That's for sure.
no, but like if they just like walk, like I don't know, I'm just like thinking in my head, where it's like the stupid shit you pop in your head, where it's like they just walk in. She shows up at my apartment. She walks in the door, and I'm sitting there playing goddamn Bayonetta. I'm like, I can explain. It's not what you think it is. It's not anime porn. Um, but yeah. So that's it's like I said, it's a weird insecurity for me, I guess, on that one. But yeah, I think it looks great. I'm totally on board. I'm gonna buy it day one. 2022. Hope to God that's sooner rather than later. But I
Right.
mean, take your time on it, obviously. But I've been waiting for that game for years. I've been wanting a sequel. 2014 is when that game came out. So I'm totally on board for, like I said, another one. Next up here we had the this one has been a rumor for a while. Not really, but for a few weeks now. Confirmed that we are getting N64 games. First off, we're getting a Nintendo Online uh, expansion pack.
Yeah, you can either or. It means the same thing.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through. I'm trying to see if it says in the article. It does not say anywhere here. Anyways, so they announced N64 games are coming to this. They no idea. They said in October sometime. No price yet or a date. They didn't say for. They said they were going to announce next month all the details on that. But also, this one was kind of a surprise here. I don't think any of us saw this coming. Genesis games are coming as well. They did say they announced that some of the games coming on the games coming day one for this are Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Ocarina of Time. There was that Win Back, and there was one other one. I can't remember what it was.
Dr.
Um,
Mario.
Dr. Mario was one. There was another weird one. I can't remember what it was though. Now I can see the picture in my head. Anyways,
Sin
though
and
they also
Punishment.
announced. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And then for some reason they named like 6 of the 8 in this article and they just stopped. So
That's
anyways,
weird.
they also announced that there's 14. The Genesis will have 14 games at launch, including basically all the Sonic games, Contra, Hardcore, uh, Sonic 2, Echo the Dolphin, Streets of Rage 2. All these games, even the 64 games, they said that they'll have online 4-player co-op, which is pretty cool. But they also announced that we are getting a they're coming out with the N64 controller, wireless controller, and a Sega Genesis controller, and they will be $50 a piece. Gables, kind of what's your thoughts when they announced this and the idea of like the expansion pack, a pass, whatever, and then the controllers.
I was surprised that it wasn't Game Boy that was announced because that had been heavily rumored. I understand that Nintendo 64 also had been rumored, especially towards the last couple of days, even during the last week when that was revealed that
There's
new
that leak about the controller.
the new leak about the controller and stuff, which people put two and two together. It's like, oh, it's N64, and
Yeah.
it ended up being not only N64 but Genesis as well. I mean, personally, I didn't think that Genesis was a thing that would happen on to the Switch online service. I thought it was just going to be purely Nintendo systems, but since that's not the case, that opens the door to other possibilities down the road. But
TurboGrafx 16.
yeah, that could potentially be a thing. They did partner.
That was on the was that the on the Wii?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It was on the Wii because Nintendo partnered with Hudson Soft, for the TurboGrafx stuff, and they partnered with SNK for Neo Geo, and even Commodore for Commodore 64 titles too.
I forgot Neo Geo. Yeah,
yes, but in regards to what was announced, I kind of figured that they would be doing a separate tier in regards to like a subscription service eventually if they were going to include more of the service games. Even though they didn't divulge what they were going to go forth with, I fairly suspect it's going to be maybe like another a $20 hike potentially. Even
yeah,
that's the thing though. It's like people are not going to like it at first though, but a lot of people will go through and buy it because
yeah.
it's 64 and it's Sega Genesis games in that regards, and they'll have the options to play not only that, but also down the line games like Majora's Mask. I mean, games like frigging
Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap, and even Banjo Kazooie. That was a big
Yeah.
one that I understand they've been friendly with Microsoft with, but to get the original Banjo Kazooie on their playable thing, like streaming, that's a huge one for Nintendo. But God, even Paper Mario, now that I think about it. But yeah, all the slew of games that they reveal for N64 side of things, it was some of the more popular ones. Well, barring Winback, because well, they're really
That was a weird
it's
one.
a weird one, yes, but I think Nintendo had a hand in like going through in helping this game in development or some shit. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. It it definitely seemed like out of left field in terms of that game, but everything else was fairly common. I mean, yes, Mario 64, yeah, Mario Kart 64, Zelda, Star Fox, it's that type of things and stuff where if you were going to have a virtual console thing of that system, those are the games that you're going to be thinking front and center. But Genesis, that came as a surprise to me because there have been multiple things of Genesis games that have been released on the eShop and also that have been through collection efforts, not only on the
Yeah, I was gonna
Switch,
say most of these games are pretty much already on the on the eShop.
most, but there
Yeah.
are a few of those games that either have not been sold individually, but are very rare games that you can find physically on the Genesis console itself. Musa is one of those games. It's one of the games that was announced alongside like the other games that we've seen before: Sonic 2, Streets of Rage 2, Castlevania Bloodlines, Contra Hard Corps and stuff. Those type of games and stuff that we have either through compilation discs or whatever that's been released before on the eShop or other online stuff. But to see games like Rystar, to see games like Musa, and also in regards to Fantasy Star 4, these are handpick some of the most hardcore of the Genesis games inside of that collection. Even like games like Shinobi 3 and this and that. A lot of these games that were handpicked for this, it felt like it was carefully picked in regards to what was something that you don't play a lot of in terms because it was so rare back in the day, or it is a single game in a franchise and stuff that's probably considered one of the best in its franchise. Like Sonic 2 and Streets of Rage 2 are perfect examples of that.
Hmm.
But yes, I felt like the selection that what they did for an initial introduction for the Sega Genesis stuff, I thought that was a good call on them because you have other ways to play the other games in the series if you've already purchased them before. But in terms of the other stuff in regards to it, it's like I do see the potential price hike of this thing being like another $20. So I could see it being like a $40, and I've heard people possibly may suggest it could be a $50 thing per year. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
unappealing, yes, but at the same time, it's like you're paying $20 now for the online component and also for NES and Super Nintendo games. Which, by the way, Nintendo has already went through and clarified. Yes, they'll still be releasing games for NES and Super NES stuff. So even if you don't invest inside the expansion option and stuff, you're
Yeah.
still able to play the current stuff that you're doing. But yeah,
But
$10 per system, maybe. Who knows?
yeah, I just think yeah, but I think the problem what hurts them though is how terrible their options they add, the games they add later on. That's what's gonna hurt them.
That's
I
the
think I
biggest
think
one. Yes.
yeah, it's like they've shown they've given us no there's we can't trust them that they're gonna add quality titles to these things going forward. Like we every time they announce these new games, like okay, where's Earthbound, where's Mario RPG, things like that, blah blah blah.
Yes.
They did say that like these they did show us like yeah, Pokemon Snap, a couple other games or Banjo Kazooie stuff like that's coming down the line, but that why is it just not there? I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Honestly, that is the
unless
thing. You know,
unless they're gonna hold it for a whole fucking year and then add it when everybody's thing comes up in October. Well, we get it for the year by adding Pokemon Snap into this.
that's highly
Um,
possible too.
yeah, which I don't know. It's just kind of shitty. It's
having
like I
having
don't know.
followed a
We
lot of
can,
Nintendo's like virtual console content back in the day up until now and stuff, that's exactly what they do because they were notorious even back inside of when the Wii was a popular console. The games per week and stuff, God, gamers would clamor just for even like a snippets of some of the like the most niche like games being popping up on that service. I'm seeing similar
yeah,
things with the Switch online. And just like with the Wii virtual console stuff, there's these like like almost obscure things that are launching that people are like, what the fuck is this?
yeah,
Because at the crux, we know that Nintendo has a huge access of library stuff. Licensing issues we can understand. I mean, that's why certain games pop in and out of online shops, including the virtual consoles back in the day, like
yeah,
TMNT. That NES game
yeah,
was on. It was like $9 or some shit, and then like it just no, I think it was like $6 or some shit, and then it just disappeared because of licensing issues.
yeah. Like I don't expect like No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000 to be on here. Like I totally get why that's a licensing hell type of thing. I get why
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen, but like it's just like when it's your own game that you fully did yourself. It'd be like just like Game Pass being out, and then it's like Xbox didn't like Halo 3's on a Game Pass for no real reason. It's
Yep.
just not there. It's like well we'll just wait a year and then we'll just like we'll get people back. It's like just put it out. It's just and it does concern me that they didn't give a price now like that because normally like you see these in like press conferences and directs where like they give you all the good shit because they want you to feel good out of this, but it's all the negative and bad shit that like kind of comes out on Twitter later or gets announced later. I remember this distinctly about when they did the Switch announcement in Japan, January 2017, where it's like they announced all these things they were doing, but then all the prices for everything came out like was like slowly coming out on Twitter throughout like the rest of the night and the rest of the next day, and all the other like little all the bad news was like was coming out, not leaking but coming out later, and it's like
Yep.
yeah like they do this because they want you to like they want good positive vibes coming out of the press conference and the event or direct or whatever you want to call it, and then we're gonna post the bad shit on Twitter later, and then but you're gonna
Yes.
feel really good about this direct, like you're gonna think it's a really cool direct, but you're gonna forget the bad shit that we announced, you know, soon afterwards.
Well, that's the thing too.
So
It's like for this case and scenario, it's just like what you were saying and stuff. They got a lot of the positive stuff of what's going to be coming through to cushion the blow of what you're going to have to pay in order to have that on top of your Nintendo subscription, and it's going to be at a price that a lot of gamers are probably going to say, "What the fuck?"
yeah. Here's my thing. I say this every time. I understand we are in a capitalist country. Our capitalism is how our government's ran. That's how Japan. That's how Europe. Most of these places are ran. I understand that. The bottom line is making as much money as possible. There's also a thing called consumer happiness, and there's gonna come a point where we people just start to say fuck you, and or when things aren't doing as hot, and then people just stop doing it. And that's kind of I've talked. I could jump. It's just a whole other topic for another day, but it's like that's where I'm at. Where I'm just like, I'm not gonna buy every Nintendo game. I don't buy every Nintendo game that comes out anymore. Like I'm gonna buy the ones I want, I really really want, and I will, pick and choose from there. From like most games I would like Mario Golf. I would have bought day one otherwise. WarioWare. I didn't buy it. I would have bought it any other time, but I didn't. So it's just after a while you get burned out on like getting burned on buying these games, playing them for a little bit, and then paying full price for these things. That shouldn't be full. Like you're gonna play for a weekend, you're gonna be done with.
Yep.
Um, but anyways, back to the direct. Um, if it comes out, it's $10. That's still, I think that's fine. It's 30 bucks a year. Because let's face it, you're really paying like the online is still shit. You should be paying for that. Um, but I think you don't even have fucking voice chat or parties. But like, this is so much better than the alternative of buying these things individually again for $5 to $10 to $15. So I like this. Like this. The only thing that bummed me was like I was really really pumped for the idea of the Game Boy games coming, because I had a Game Boy back in the day that was like I was mostly a handheld gamer until the GameCube. Really, like we had the PlayStation, we had the 64, but they're more like my dad's consoles, so I didn't get to play them as much until I got my GameCube. Until I got a PlayStation when my grandpa passed away, I got his, but that was like 2002. Anyways, so like, but there's still so many games on the Game Boy that I missed. Like I talked about the time. I'd love to play the Oracle games, or even just finally get like the replay like Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Right.
Would be fucking awesome. Shit like that. I was kind of bummed. I was really anticipating that, but this is fine. I'm not. This isn't like I haven't had a Switch Online um, membership in probably 3 years. Like the first year or two it was out, and then so this isn't gonna sell me. But yeah, I hope it's $10. But I think the fact that they're gonna wait until next month to give us more details tells me that it's probably gonna be more. But moving on here, I meant to have it ready to go. I did not do that. Oh, the Braves one. That's good. I just got an update from them. Disco Elysium. Some of these you can run through here.
Yeah.
Disco Elysium is coming to the Switch on October 12th. That was actually it's supposed to be a fantastic game. Came to the consoles earlier this year, but it came to PC last year. Chocobo GP. I swear to God, Gables, I saw this game. I thought the Battle Wonderworld team made this as well, but
It looks fun. Anyway. Oh, the sight when you see like your dad died inside. Anyway.
Oh God, this is one of those things where if you're an audio listener, you should just the look I gave Gables makes that looks like fun. Um, if looks can kill through Skype, Gables, we already know Gables game of the year now is going to be Balan Wonderworld. So I knew we should have made our E3 bet Balan Wonderworld. I knew it.
Oh God.
Anyways, next up, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So this is something I meant to mention at the top here was that um, I didn't see it. So the upside about my job is I drive, so I don't. I'm pretty much on blackout from everything. Besides like any of my podcasts, like I listen to podcasts all day at work for driving, but like I'm pretty much internet blackout all day. So I had no clue about any of these leaks until I got home literally as I got off work early and got home literally as it was starting. So I had no idea that the Bayonetta 3 they put out that they added it to the release schedule of 2022. So that kind of leaked that kind of gave it away that it was going to be at the direct, and then also that Kirby and the Forgotten Land was accidentally announced with the spring 2022 date, and they had Kirby in like a destroyed New Donk City essentially is what I kind of look at it as. They didn't say that, but that's what as soon as I saw it, I'm like, why is Kirby in like if Last of Us happened to New Donk City? That's the vibes I was getting from it. But anyways, we got a full blown 3D Kirby game, Gables.
Yes, we did.
It's coming spring 2022. What did you think of this?
I was shocked actually because it did not seem like it was a Kirby game at first because it looked like through elements of the thing. I thought this was the Donkey Kong game
Oh,
actually.
I meant to ask you. Sorry to cut you off. Did you know? Did you hear the leaks before the direct?
Nope, I didn't because
Okay,
I went in
cool.
there blind.
Okay,
And
all right.
because I was at work and stuff, I did not have any type of access to the social media things. I mean, this is one of the benefits, people, that if you're not on a lot of the social media platforms, like with Twitter
That's
or
true.
with Facebook
Yeah,
or something like that, you can go in there blind and you can actually be surprised without things having to be leaked for you. Of course, I'm on
yeah.
YouTube as well, so I'm
Well,
like,
it's
man,
it's funny though. Is the last two directs we've had? It's not developers or publishers doing it. It's Nintendo themselves leaking shit. They
yeah,
leaked Mario and Rabbids 2 on the American website, and
yes,
now the Nintendo Japan website leaked Kirby. So it's not even anybody else doing it. Because
no,
normally it's like when we have these events, it's like someone posts something like 3 hours too early on one of the stores, or like Microsoft's terrible about this, where they
yes, they
post
do.
they leak they what was it they leaked the date to Halo Infinite the morning of, like 3 hours before the date was gonna be announced. They did the same thing with like Star Wars, the flying one. I can't remember what it's called. They leaked that like the day on it was supposed to be announced. I got a hair in my mouth. It drive me nuts. Ah, what's on my tongue?
So yeah, they did the
It
same
was
with
really weird.
Star Wars Squadrons and stuff like that.
Star Wars Squadron. Thank you. Yeah. So it's like it's really funny. It's like I don't know. I just thought it was funny. People were like mad about it. I'm like, Nintendo leaked it. Nobody else did it. I just thought it was funny. I was scrolling through Twitter and everybody's pissed off. I'm like, be mad at Nintendo. I don't know who else. Like people are just mad, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're mad about. But anyways, go back. What you're saying?
Like I was saying though, it was surprising to see because it kind of reminded me almost like a Donkey Kong-esque sort of thing because for one of the last things before you see the cut off to Kirby is like you see the palm trees, and I thought the trees themselves, the tropical trees, kind of reminded me almost of like Donkey Kong because of
Mm-hmm.
tropical freeze and because of DKC returns. So I thought this was going to be the 3D Donkey Kong Land, but no, this is Kirby. The one of the first, if not the first, 3D Kirby game that I can remember being in this style. So it's like, God, Kirby released on the Game Boy like around, I think it was like what, 93 or some of this shit. So it's almost like what 27
It
years
was
ago.
like one of the last games to come out in NES. So yeah.
Yeah, Kirby's Adventure. Yeah, that one was. But the first game in that series was like the original Kirby, which was back on
Oh.
the Game Boy. And what's kind of interesting, it's like you had that, and then you had Kirby's Adventure on NES, and then Kirby's Dream Land 2. Man, that, yeah, I know it was kind of out of sync, but at the same point, what I'm getting at is it's been close to 30 years and Kirby has mostly remained the same, right? Give or take in like a lot of the great games that that series has produced with Superstar and stuff like that, and also with like other obscure ones, even like spin-off games, like say like Kirby's Air Ride and stuff, and even like
Epic Yarn and
oh yeah, Epic Yarn, yeah, that was a fun
what
one.
was the one that we had that was like that came out on Switch
The one that
with
came out on
the
Switch that a lot of
All
people
Stars?
have actually kind of been forgettable about is Star Allies. Kirby
Star
Star
Allies, yeah.
Allies. Yeah, I played through that one, and quite honestly, even though it was fun and stuff, yeah, it was fairly safe with what they did.
It
But
was alright.
with this one is fairly noticeable, and it's also something completely different than what is usually a custom or akin to a Kirby game, and that is a full 3D environment to where Kirby's exploring the terrain around him in that regards. And what's interesting about it is the level design. It really reminded me some hints of like Mario Odyssey, because
Yeah.
yeah, because some of the level structure and everything else. And when they panned out of that logo, it looked like a post-apocalyptic Seattle. Because I saw the Space Needle, I saw this and that, and what's kind of hilarious, it looked like the cheery version of like exploring the Seattle in The Last of Us Part Two.
Wow. What a All right. So this is gonna be a quick hitter, but Gables, there tomorrow's Last of Us Day,
Yeah,
formerly known as Outbreak Day. We're gonna get some we're supposed to get some updates on the Last of Us series tomorrow.
yeah.
What if Kirby is now officially being confirmed as part of the Last of Us uh, world extended universe?
Oh, yeah, watch it be the complete cause of why that virus is
Yeah,
going.
Kirby caused the outbreak. He sucked in the wrong mushroom and it caused the fucking outbreak.
Booyah!
Jesus fucking Christ! I always knew Kirby was an asshole.
Oh my gosh. But yes, I was fairly excited to see it. You know, it's like it's something completely different. It's something exciting and it's something fun with a classic character. I mean, this is like that step in a franchise and stuff to where you're more akin to having one style and all of a sudden something completely different comes in and it looks fresh and exciting. This is definitely the most fresh I've been and excited I've been for a Kirby game in a long time. So,
Mm.
yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I was blown away when I saw, I'm like, it's fuck Kirby. Okay, because I played the Wii U one back in the day. I played the one that came out. Sorry, wow, that was a weird hiccup there. I played the one that came out on the Switch when it first
Yes.
came out, and I was like, it's just kind of. I thought it was just kind of boring. It was kind of easy. It was just over. I mean,
Well,
it's a
that's
kids
general
game. It's
Kirby
whatever.
game too.
Yeah. So, but when I saw this, I'm like, I was blown away. I was like, holy shit, this game looks good. Now, there's concerns like, is this just like a 3D version of a Kirby game, where it's just gonna be like, where like Kirby is like the baby ass baby game of Mario 2D games, but now we're doing a baby ass baby mode of Mario 3D games. Um, that concern is hitting me. But I don't know. I think even that I would still. I'm not. I'm talking about. I'm not the biggest 2D guy in the world. So I I think. Man, I really am looking forward to this one. I don't know if it's gonna be a day one buy. It's definitely gonna be a wait and see what people say about it, because
Yeah.
I think this game could be really great, really good. Maybe not like Mario. I'm not saying Mario Odyssey, but like I think this game could be really, really good. And like my one holdback is like I just hope it's not like the super easy, because it's just, I mean, it's not for us, I guess, in that sense. But like I really want this like to be a really cool, badass, like top tier, maybe one tier below top tier 3D Nintendo game, because that would be awesome.
You know what it kind of felt like though? It felt like an open world Kirby game.
Yeah, yeah,
Honestly,
totally.
at
Yep.
points it did. It felt like because from the initial set and how they're aiming it, you know, you're exploring this like a forgotten land and stuff, right? And so it's like this whole forgotten land. So it kind of felt like to me that it could be a potential like open world sort of game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be interested in that. I don't, who knows how it's gonna work, but yeah, I'm up for it, because yeah, this is the first time I've been really interested in a Kirby game, in probably since, I don't know, Super Nintendo. So moving on here. Um, so Project Triangle Strategy is now just called Triangle Strategy.
Okay.
It's coming March 4th. We got some more information on that, but they said they had like a demo that came out last year. They a bunch of people did some surveys. They made some changes to like I think you can change like the camera, the difficulty, and stuff like a bunch of other things like that. So they're streamlining a lot of things. So that's coming out March 4th, which we didn't have a date for that, so that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you want to say on that one before we move on?
No, not really. It looks
All right,
fun
I just
still.
yeah, I think people that are interested will like it, but I just think it's funny how they just like dropped the project from it, just like the Octopath Traveler, and like we just that was it. Like there was no like, yeah, we're officially calling it Triangle Strategy. It's just no, it's just that's what it is now. We had a Metroid Dread trailer for it. So that's coming. That's coming soon. That's man,
October
that's like a
8th.
week. Yeah, it's like less than like what 2 weeks away.
Yep.
I know Gables, you are super pumped for this game. Uh, so I imagine this trailer probably didn't do anything more from you other than
No.
make you more erect if possible.
No, it didn't really do too much for me and stuff like that. I mean, I was going to go through and play
Yeah,
it eventually anyway, but at the same time and stuff, it's interesting to see like previews of the different types of areas you're going to explore and stuff. I felt a disconnect when they had to mention the freaking website in order to read the lore and every shit.
yeah,
That could have been better off as like a after direct sort of like hint, on social
yeah.
media to where, hey, you want to check out the more the lore of this game? Here, click this link, get on the website. Not in the
That's
middle of
really
the
why
track.
yeah, and that's why I really thought like the Game Boy stuff was possible, where it's like, because I mean this is the fifth of this Metroid series of this series that they're following, not because they're not including the Prime ones in this.
Hmm.
Most of those things are other than the first two, the rest are on Game Boy consoles.
Yep.
It would make sense to put those on the fuck like make them be awesome. All five were playable on the Switch, so I really thought that was like a plausible idea. Next up, Gables. I think this one is definitely for you. Castlevania Advance Collection. This was kind of leaked a few weeks back, but it's out. It's actually out now on Switch. Gables, how many times have you bought this already?
I've been fairly tempted to buy it, but I have been more reserved in regards to a lot of the game purchases and stuff. But I'll tell
Okay,
you what, it's
yeah.
like, yes, we've heard rumors about the game being like rated in different countries, rating boards. The latest one before this dropped was Taiwan's rating boards. But the biggest surprise in regards to this was the stealth drop of after the direct. That came as a complete surprise. And what's interesting about this is like it didn't bundle just the three Game Boy Advance Castlevania games, but they actually included the other Super Nintendo Castlevania game, the one that supposedly no, not supposedly, the one that was the one US fans got. This is like the version of Rondo of Blood that they got for the Super
Okay.
Nintendo, as opposed to the TurboGrafx port that didn't come to the US until around 2011. I want to say it was definitely with the PSP, with Dracula X Chronicles and
Oh,
stuff. That game officially released as an unlockable game on the remaster of the Dracula X Chronicles on PSP back then. But this one is more akin to like the Super Nintendo, the rehashing and stuff, where they had to remake certain like level designs, had to completely change certain portions of the game and stuff. So that game now is playable on modern systems alongside the three Game Boy Advance games that I'm very familiar with, considering that, yes, play through a lot of that stuff in high school, actually. Yes, Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow. All three of them are solid games in and of themselves. In terms of how strong they are, definitely Aria of Sorrow is the best out of the trio, followed by, I want to say, Circle of the Moon, because the gameplay and like the DSS cards of that game is definitely better. Harmony of Dissonance, even though that's a good game in and of itself, I would consider that like below Circle of the Moon, only because like the musical score isn't as strong as like Circle of the Moon and Aria of Sorrow. Can't really say too much about the Dracula X game. That's the last one because I've never personally played it. I've only seen it be played. But I am very tempted to pick this up. But at the same time, when that was announced, and then the this was like in the cluster. There was like three announcements in
oh
a
yeah,
row,
yeah.
actually, 3 or 4 announcements in a row. I think we had just gotten the N64 Genesis stuff, which I was excited about that, and all of a sudden we had these collections here, right? Castlevania collections, and then it's like a couple things later, it's like Deltarune Chapter 1 and Chapter 2.
Yep.
That thing being a thing. I was excited about that. But the biggest surprise, and that was one of the biggest pops that got out of me, that was like, oh my fucking god, what the hell is they're actually
The ActRaiser.
ActRaiser, yes.
Yeah.
ActRaiser Renaissance. This came out of left field because the moment I saw that cutscene to where you're zooming down to Earth and stuff like that, I'm like, oh my fuck! I literally fucking like screamed like, it's fucking ActRaiser! God, that moment inside of a Nintendo Direct where you recognize something that's so niche and stuff, but it makes you that fucking excited about it is like, it's magical. I mean, fucking, it's magical. And like maybe a few people will know, but yet a lot of the things are look at you, what the fuck is this? That was with Square Enix's announcement of ActRaiser Renaissance. So to get up a little bit of a history story, ActRaiser, that was a game released in the Super Nintendo back in the day by Enix. This game is part action platformer and simulator. And I'm going to say this right now, man. It's like, it sounds kind of boring, but it's not, because for one, you are tasked as an angel and stuff. You have to free these particular lands and stuff like that by, I want to say, Tanzarian or something like that. He's basically Satan, quintessentially. Let's just think of it that way. But for each land you visit, you have to free that land, and now you have to rebuild that land after you defeat that area's boss, right? And so it's like you have to go forth with like let's like a couple of angels or something like that in order to rebuild that city and stuff and have all the resources and stuff done like this and that. So it's exciting to see that game being remade because that came so out of left field, and it also came out of like the hint that off of the God, like rumors and news that we were saying as far back as maybe like a year or so ago, where it's like Square Enix was looking at potential other remakes of classic game franchises. And so it's like ActRaiser, that was something I never thought that was gonna be touched. Maybe like the port being put on to like the SNES's like online store, the online app. Yeah, I saw that possibly, but it was fairly exciting because the renewed graphics, the renewed gameplay of it. Plus, there are some definitely some better improvements in regards to the whole action stuff. Because in that game, when you played initially, you could only like slash like directly in front of you. You couldn't go above or below or anything of that sort. So the gameplay is actually like improved in that regards. But yeah,
Hmm.
that cluster of announcements from this Nintendo Direct alone was definitely like the highlight for me, because it's like you have the N64 Genesis expansion, you have the Castlevania collection, the Castlevania Advance collection, ActRaiser like Renaissance, and then like the Deltarune Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. All those games and stuff kind of spoke to me directly because for one, longtime Nintendo fan, played a whole bunch of the content and stuff from back then, and then it's like two, a lot of like the various stuff that just appeals to me. It just felt like it was more akin to like me personally almost. But
Yeah.
and what were you thinking about that stuff, Tyler?
I got nothing, Gables. You summed it up very well. Uh, I'm happy you're happy, as I'll
Mm.
say that. These obviously are not for me. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Like there was like a few like here's like a barrage of games announced, but that was pretty much everything out of it. I mean, overall, kind of what was your thoughts of this direct?
All right. So before we get into the thoughts about my direct entirely, we got to address the elephant in the room, and that
Uh-oh.
was with
Oh, I
the
forgot.
Mario
We
movie.
gotta talk about Mario. I'm so happy you remember this, Gables. We gotta talk about this. I think I erased it from my mind. What the fuck? I can't. Okay, I gotta find the cast. I gotta find the cast. So we got motherfucking Charlie Day
Mm-hmm.
is Luigi.
Yep.
Chris Pratt is Mario. That's where it started. That's where it started. Was we got Mario. We got Anna Taylor Joy as Peach. Actually, that seems like a pretty good casting. Jack Black as Bowser. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Which honestly, we've had animated cartoons with Donkey Kong in the past. It's actually pretty good. A lot of people were like laughing at that one. Keegan Michael Peel. I can't. I always fuck his name up. Keegan Michael. Is it Peel?
Yeah.
Peel. Yeah. He is Toad. Which honestly, I kind of wish that they would switch Luigi and Toad around for the voice actor because I think Charlie Day would make a lot more sense as Toad. And there's a few. Charles Martinet will be in there. He'll be doing some cameos. That was pretty much the big stuff out of it. There's a couple other people they announced as well. Those are the main ones. Wow. Like, so Illumination, the Despicable Me people is making this animated movie. It's coming out December 21st in North America to theaters. Gables. What we've had. So we were lucky enough to have 48 hours to like kind of ingest this information. Where are you at on all this?
All right. So to better explain myself, I need to talk about the reactions I had when I first learned about that. Because to paint the picture, listeners, Miyamoto comes out on stage right here in the middle of this Nintendo Direct and announces the voice cast for the Mario movie, Holiday 2022. And then the first picture pops up on the screen as Mario is Chris Pratt. And immediately when I see Chris Pratt's image, I just start laughing my ass off. And it wasn't just like a funny haha, it was a funny what the fuck? It was like one of those confused kind of moments of like, okay. And as the actors and actresses got introduced, oh no, I completely fucking lost it when Charlie Day popped up on the screen and stuff with Luigi, because it's like, oh, what the fuck is that? I thought I was being trolled, I mean, heavily. And all of a sudden you see Jack Black as Bowser, and then all of a sudden Seth Rogen's like picture jumps like fucked up, and I immediately just turned stoic and like just frown face like fuck Seth Rogen.
Wow, I like this one. Gables, we lost Gables again. He's dying.
I'm just thinking about it. It's like that's a total fucking thing I would do too, man. It's like I just go over. I'm just funny, and all of a sudden I just see one guy I just don't agree with. It's like, oh fuck this.
We gotta make a deal, Gables, because I was thinking about this when I got off work, and I'm like, man, like we gotta like live react to these. Now, obviously, when they happen, the ones that happen at like 7 in the morning, we can't do anything about. But like these afternoon ones, we can avoid spoilers and then just like hop on Skype and just watch it later on live together.
Yeah.
Because when I saw this, I'm like, the first thing I thought of was like, I wish I was in a room with Justin and Gables right now, watching this. Because that's
exactly what I felt too. This is one of those epic moments and stuff in gaming history, dude. You're gonna look back and it's like, yeah, they fucking introduced Charlie Day as Mario.
Yeah.
No, it's
Chris
Luigi.
Pratt as Mario.
Chris Pratt as Mario.
Yeah, and because I feel like both of you would be crying, but for different reasons.
Honestly, on this, I was crying laughing. It was it was so hilariously bad, dude. It was funny.
I was just stunned, like. I just stared at the screen for a very long time. And it's been 48 hours since it was announced. And I still got nothing, Gables. I have nothing.
Dude.
I'm going to try. I can't wait to see a trailer. And I feel like then I will have something. Because I just don't know what the fuck is this going to be. Because I don't know. You hired all these actors. These actors, you're paying all these money for these actors. They're not going to be somebody else. You hired them to be them. You hired them for their voice. You don't want Charles Day. Charles Day is a very distinct voice, and you want him to be Charles Day. Jack Black, same thing. Keegan Michael Peel, same thing. You hire these people. Chris Pratt, same thing. Like, I know Chris Pratt said he's working on an Italian accent. I don't believe for a second it's going to be anything different. Like, they're not bad. They're all very good voice actors. It's just this is stunning. I don't even have any there's no funny comeback to this because it's a joke in itself. It's like when comedians talk about like they can't make fun of Trump because he's just the ultimate joke. This is the ultimate joke in video games where there's just you can't make fun of it because there's just it's it's just a joke in itself. The thing itself is a joke. It's fucking hilarious that this is real.
You
I'm not
know,
even mad. This is gonna be Nintendo's Resident Evil movies. Um, the
it's gonna be entertaining regardless, though. But
I mean, the
look,
Resident Evil movies are entertaining in its own way. They're not good at all.
yeah,
They're entertaining, but they're very bad. I also understand that they're trying to this is for the kids, for sure. They don't even give a shit. We are not the target audience for this thing. Even us, even people are in our age group that have kids, we are not the target audience for this. The kids, like the people that made Despicable Me are making a Mario movie. Okay, I'm in, and that's it. That like the kids want to go to this, and that's what's gonna be. I can't wait for a fucking trailer, because I oh man, I remember I bought this I bought the Sonic movie, and it's fucking people were like, oh, it's really good actually, and it's trash. I hated that movie. I couldn't even finish it. It's a bad movie, um, and I feel like that's the best bet. Is people come out of this thinking it's a bad Mario movie, but it's a good movie in general. And I feel like that's like, and I'll probably not like it because I'm 32 years old. I'll be 33 when this movie comes out. I don't have kids, so I don't have to watch this if I don't want to. I'm going to watch this because it's gonna be. I have to
could
because
it
it's gonna be fucking hilarious. Go ahead.
could it be as legendary as the Bob Hoskins Jog Leguizamo movie with Dennis Hopper?
Gables, movie cinema peak there. We can't. We
Oh,
can't. People always talk about Casablanca. Fuck that movie. That movie's trash.
uh,
Super Mario Brothers, top tier movie. The fun fact about that is for years, decades, I've been trying to get Justin to watch that movie. He has never watched it, and I'm
really?
like, dude, yes, because he heard us so about how bad it was, and he's never watched it. And I'm like, please do me this favor. If you ever watch this movie, let me be present when you watch it,
Oh my
because
god,
that's all I want.
dude,
If ever the day ever comes, I
dude.
want to be there with you when we watch this movie. It's like the pact I had with my friends. Like I've never smoked weed in my life, but I told if I ever smoked it or whatever, or took CBD or whatever, I would be with them when I did it. Um, it's the same pact kind of thing where it's like I gotta be present when this happens. Nobody else can be present.
Oh.
It's gotta be you, me. We'll get some whiskey and some fucking RC cola, and we'll fucking watch this goddamn. Do they still make RC? I don't even know. And then we're gonna fucking watch this goddamn movie because
Oh.
it is something. I watch the movie all the time. It's not good. I still remember this day that scene where spoilers, Justin, where Mario remembers in the movie that he bought tickets for him and Peach to go see WrestleMania. Like how the fuck do you forget that you have tickets to go see WrestleMania? How do you forget WrestleMania is that day, motherfucker? Like how do you forget? How do you forget? That blew my mind as a kid. I'm like, how would you forget that? I wouldn't shut up about it. If I had tickets to WrestleMania, I would tell everybody. I'd talk about it constantly. That'd just be my personality. Anyways, we were getting off subject. I just got nothing. I mean, long story on this one. Long story, short story into a long story here. I just got nothing on this movie. And like I said, it's the ultimate joke in itself. And there's just, what can you do about it? You can't make fun of it anymore. All you can do is just watch live reactions to it. I highly recommend everybody look up on YouTube Dan Reicher's reaction to this, because it is the fucking best. Go to YouTube, look up Dan Reicher's reactions to the Mario Cast, and that's just the ultimate reaction. That is everything you need in 60 seconds.
Oh man, you definitely hit a good point right there because Dan Reichert's reaction, that was gold. One of the YouTubers, Arlo, his reaction was pretty much gold too.
Yeah,
But man, watching reactions of other people, I mean, this was a key moment to where if you want to do a live reaction of like a gaming event or something like that, that was probably one of the most defining moments and stuff in regards to like a literal meme happening right in front of you to where you knew what was happening right in front of you and you still can't believe that it's a real thing.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah. Like I said, I was in a stunned silence.
Well,
But
I will say this though, that meme with Chris Pratt and stuff like that, holding his hands out like this with the freaking Raptors and stuff. People are gonna Photoshop that thing with Yoshi's with him as Mario.
Yeah, the Twitter has been. That's always the best part when this shit happens. Is Twitter is just on its game,
Oh,
and some of the videos and memes coming out of this of Chris Pratt, in like dressed as Mario or in other movies, it's just been fucking awesome. Um,
unicorn.
yeah, but overall, Gables, thoughts on the direct? What do you think?
You know what? I understand that there were a lot of things inside this direct and stuff that wouldn't have appealed to a lot of people. I mean, yeah, we had like confirmations for like Monster Hunter Rise, that expansion coming out like in 2022. We had more additional like direct stuff for future directs and stuff for Animal Crossing with like their new update
Smash
that's going to
Brothers.
be.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the whole Roost add-on and stuff for that, plus like Smash Brothers Sakurai's last announcement's gonna that whole thing is gonna be October 5th. That is going to be like 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to be wide awake watching that shit because I want to see what the last character is, and he's going to demonstrate that damn character
Yeah.
too. So
Which is
that
crazy because normally they announce it at a direct and like a week later they have this. So it's I love that I like that they're building this one up. Um, I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers and then watch it later because I'll it's 9 o'clock my time, so I've been at work for a few hours at this point, so I'm gonna do my best to avoid it. And man, I can't. Oh, man, I don't even want to. I don't even want to ask for predictions because it's
no,
we've had 11 of them. This will be 12th one I think, and I don't think any of these were maybe besides like the fact we got Min Min. I don't think any of us saw any of these coming. So
no, not even at all. And at this point, it's got to be a big character. It's not only if this is going to be the last one, but Sakura is going to actually demonstrate it himself.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a big one because I mean, Crom was the final announcement for the first pact, so it doesn't have to be a big one. It could very much end on a clunker. I just
Yeah, that could be true too.
in a way though, if they did end on like another Final Emblem Source character, I'd respect it
Yeah.
because like this as a long ploy joke. Them like, oh, we're gonna end on some obscure Fire Emblem character from the original NES game. That'd be pretty fucking funny.
Or
But go on.
we could probably end it on a character that Sakurai first developed. But
No, this would be funnier. What if it's Chris Pratt?
oh god, just Chris Pratt as
Chris
Mario.
as Mario. That'd be awesome. And then like the alternative skins are just all the different like Charles Day as Luigi, Keiko Michael Peel as Toad. That'd be awesome.
Okay, but there were plenty of things that appealed to me specifically in overall and stuff. There was a little bit of things for a lot of the different fan bases in regards to Nintendo for the specific games. Like I said it before, like I've said it before for Monster Hunter, for Animal Crossing and stuff, for the whole the retro the retro community and stuff, the N64 and Genesis stuff. For the people that were waiting for more footage for Splatoon 3 and for Bayonetta 3, though that stuff was there as well. I felt like this was a strong direct. Hell, even the surprise with Kirby, that was a fun one for me. I feel like even though there was some low points, I think it's an 8.5 personally.
Okay.
Even regardless of
Yeah.
like all the surprises and stuff. Because I think what really kind of drug it down a little bit, one was the Mario like movie cast announcement, and two, like there was a Disney game there that looked like
Yeah.
complete ass. And it was like caked right in the middle, which I thought was the lowest point of that entire direct. But
Which that also leaked before the direct.
yeah,
So
and that really didn't really need to be showed. But at the same time, man, it's like it was still a strong direct. I'm happy from a lot of that information. I still went through and rewatched it like a couple different times with other people reacting to it and seeing their reaction to the Mario stuff. It was so fucking hilarious.
yeah, that's really the best part of the direct for me is just other people's reactions to the Mario cast. I just I the Kirby thing and Kirby and Bayonetta I'm really excited for. My issue though is I've talked about this in the past where it's just like, but and maybe this is a bigger topic for another day where it's just like I'm just kind of in a way done with this current iteration of the Switch where we have maxed this thing out to the nth degree. And it's just like I so badly want to play Pokemon Legends Arceus and Bayonetta 3 and perhaps even Kirby. But it's just like I just don't trust that this thing is gonna run well on these things,
Yeah.
and or even if they do run well, how much shit they had to do to make this thing run well. How many things they had to scrap, how little is in these open worlds or how little is in this world to make these things run well. Like we saw Dying Light 1 and 2 were coming to this thing. Dying Light 2 is going to be a cloud edition. Dying Light is a January 2014 game, 2 months after the PS4 and Xbox One came out, and they had to dumb this thing down for the Switch. Over 3 years before the Switch came out, we're dumbing down games for this thing. And I'm not saying I need. I said this at the time when they announced the OLED. I don't need 4K Switch. I don't need fucking modern day graphics Switch. I just want my Switch games to play at least 30 frames a second consistently. And I just feel like, and I said this earlier, where I'm just kind of like I'm kind of burnt out on being burned by Nintendo in their games, where they're very low. The content is barren unless you have a constant amount of different people to play with. There's just no replay value in these games. I was thinking about outside of Hades, which isn't even a fucking Nintendo game. There hasn't been a game I played on this that I was really excited for and really, really liked since Luigi's Mansion 3, which that was October 2019, almost 2 years ago. And every game that's come out since then is I don't care about or it's just been disappointing. Like especially like I look at like Hyrule Warriors, where that game Age of Calamity, where they announced DLC, they announced the final DLC pack for this, where like that game was fucking fraudulent in the way they advertised it as it's the Origins Tales to Breath of the Wild. No, it's not. It's an alternate reality. Haha, fuck you guys. Thank you for $60. And then also this game runs at 15 frames per second. So I don't know. I mean, like I thought the direct was fine. I think part of it too was like I said, I haven't really been super excited or buzzed for like there's that initial like, oh fuck yeah, I'm excited for this, but then I think about it, like when WarioWare was announced, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm buying that day one. And I'm just like, and then it came out, and I'm like, eh. And then I read the reviews, like, you can play it like after like 4 hours, you've done everything. Like I'm like Advance Wars 1 and 2, I'm gonna get in December. That just because I mean that's that nostalgia thing they're getting for me on it. And I'm upset that I gotta pay $60 for it, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like if there was a Switch Pro right now, my excitement level would be through the roof for a lot of these games. But the fact that we're getting the OLED in a couple weeks, that's only going to help people that are playing handheld and not the actual console itself. Just kind of dampens my excitement for playing games on this console. Like the only other game I bought this year was Open Road 96 on the Switch, and this is like a really good indie game, and it just runs like garbage on there. And not all of it's Nintendo's fault. I'm not even necessarily blaming that. Part of that is definitely on the developer itself, but it's like, man, it's like I heard PC like it runs totally fine, in this thing it's like chugging at 20 frames per second, and it's not even that powerful. This game is even like doesn't write home about as far as graphical power. So I don't know. Yeah, but I mean like people are excited for this. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer here. That's just kind of how I feel coming out of it. There's definitely the future's bright. 2022 is looking pretty good for them. I'm just worried about how these games are going to run when they do come out next year. But that's kind of overall thoughts on it. Obviously the peak of it was the cast of the Mario games for this thing, or the Mario movies. I'm sorry. But moving on here, Gables, we are an hour and 15 minutes in, and we haven't. That was topic one. We'll run to the next two pretty fast here. Next up here, we have Crystal Dynamics is co-developing the Perfect Dark game. So they announced the God, I forgot the goddamn name. The initiation, no. Starts with an I. Anyway, I'm gonna look it up real fast. But they have announced on Twitter. This actually kind of dropped right like during the fucking direct, so kind of got quickly lost. It was like right after the direct, like or right at the end of the direct. This was like announced on Twitter that Crystal Dynamics, who is owned by Square Enix, they helped to make like they helped reboot the Tomb Raider series. They made the first two Tomb Raider games, and then also made the Marvel's Avengers. But they did open up a second studio of Crystal Dynamics. So they now have one in LA and Austin. The Initiative is that's what I was trying to think of. Um, they announced that like initiative is like the quadruple A team that they created to make a game that Microsoft created to make games for them. They announced they're the ones making the Perfect Dark game. They
Hmm.
announced Crystal Dynamic is going to help co-develop it. Also, kind of revealed in this tweet was that it's a first-person game, which it's a first-person shooter, which we never had initially announced before. So that's something. But I don't know. I mean, it. I saw. Excuse me. I had like a weird puberty / hiccup thing going on there. I got high pitch. But anyways, like I saw like initially a lot of like concerns, and even I had that. But I've seen a lot of people like pointing out like in the industry like this isn't like necessarily like all that like uncommon. Where like you hear about like a lot of studios get outside help to kind of do like the smaller things, or they usually hire like usually like smaller studios to help them tackle like the minor things so they can focus on the big picture stuff, or even hear about like we hear about it, we talk about it every now and again. Like Breath of the Wild, like Monolith Soft was a big part of them helping make Breath of the Wild, and it sounds like the same thing with Breath of the Wild 2 as well.
Hmm.
We hear about it all the time. We're like, or like Nintendo gets help from Capcom to make 3 Zelda games, things like that. So um, this isn't necessarily unusual. It's just kind of unusual the way it was announced, where an Xbox studio, the quadruple A studio, is being helped by Square Enix studio, Crystal Dynamics, to make this, but also the head of the studio. And a lot of people from that are in the initiative, a good chunk of them are made up of former Crystal Dynamic employees.
Ah,
So that kind of
makes sense.
explains things too. But I don't know. There's not really a lot to go off on this one. I just thought it was a very interesting case where like this game is very early on. I mean, I think it's maybe a year or two in development, and we're probably a few years away from it coming out. But I don't know. It's just kind of a very like holy shit. That's kind of big news, but maybe not as big as we thought. What was your thoughts when you heard this?
To be perfectly honest with you, it's like I am kind of surprised that they did get an outside source for like Crystal Dynamics and stuff like that. I thought that maybe like Microsoft would do it within their own studios and stuff like that. But at the same time, you did touch upon some good points to where, yeah, it is common in the industry and stuff to where if like a one company will reach out to another to help like fine tune certain aspects of things inside their game development stuff. So I don't think it's like anything bigger as it is and stuff. It's kind of interesting, but I don't think it's really like really cause for concern or anything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, oh yeah, yeah. I think it's going to be a while before we see anything out of this game,
Yeah.
other than what we probably got. So I think it's kind of like the Mario movie. When we see a trailer, then we can react a little bit more on it. But moving on to the next thing here, Quantic Dream is rumored to be making a Star Wars game.
Hmm.
Another thing that just came out of fucking nowhere here.
Huh.
So this this was kind of like leaked by a couple of YouTubers that are like known for leaking things
Okay.
about Star Wars and even Quantic Dream, and then now it's been corroborated by several people in the industry that this is actually happening. And apparently, it's not going to be a typical Quantic Dream game where it's not Detroit Become Human or
Okay.
Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls. There might be some. It sounds like it might be more of an action-based game. So we heard the story about how Quantic Dream has kind of moved on from the partnership with PlayStation and Sony, where they were I think for a good 10, 12 years there. They were
Yeah.
exclusively making PlayStation games, and now they said they're focusing on making multi-platform games. So now they're getting a Star Wars game, and it's just this is weird.
Yeah.
This is very weird, and I don't know how because man, like David Cage, like he's like one of those guys that like when he talks, he sounds very smart. Like he sounds like like whatever he's selling, I'm buying kind of thing. But I man, like the more I play his games, the more I'm just like he's just kind of like I feel like he's really like that episode of South Park where like the people that buy Priuses like fart into a wine glass and they smell the fart from the wine glass. That's what I think of when I think of David Cage, where he's just like he's so up his own ass, and he's so good at like talking and selling things, kind of like with the creator of Fable as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, they say all these cool things that
Peter
sound awesome.
Molyneux.
Peter Molyneux, thank you. And it's just like I don't know. It's like I like Detroit Become Human. It had a lot of problems. It was very much up his own ass. Beyond Two Souls, I didn't think was very good. Heavy Rain, I think you platinumed it.
Yep.
I really liked the game, but it was like also like that was like the first of its kind I ever played of that game. That was before like Telltale became a thing. And I just
To be fair, I
I
did
don't know
like that game. I did.
which one.
I did like Heavy Rain,
Oh
because
no, no,
yeah,
no! I loved Heavy Rain when it first came out. Like, yeah, no, I'm saying like I loved it at the time, but it's like also at that time I don't think anybody else was doing what they were doing.
no,
Um, so at least on the on the AAA market. Um, yeah, I just feel like as time goes on though, like it's been we've kind of seen it, and he's just kind of the same. It's just kind of a repeating pattern
yep,
of things. So I don't know. I just don't know. Like I hope to God there's somebody in there from the Disney side. Well, maybe not Disney side because we've seen how they fuck up Star Wars. But there's somebody with like intelligence. Like, hey, you gotta. I mean, I know Star Wars is like with even with George Lucas is like he was very stingent on like things that would happen in video game stories. Like he would have to approve the script and every tiny detail and the storyline. So for better or worse. So I hope there's somebody in there because I don't I don't know how this is gonna go. Even as an action game, I just the more details come out about this is like the weirder it gets, and it's like so many more layers of like I don't know how I feel about this. What about you, Gables?
yeah. Yeah, to be perfectly honest with you, man, it's like this is actually one of the first I've actually hearing about Quantic Dream in regard to a Star Wars thing. But yeah, I can't really picture it either because they're more akin to like the plot and story development of stuff more so than they are of action. Because more or less their games are quintessentially like the choose your own adventure style of like
Mm-hmm.
gameplay to where similar to that like say of a Heavy Rain to where there's like multiple different outcomes and stuff and bearing apart the decisions that you make inside your game. So seeing them go into like a Star Wars game and may potentially have some action elements of it, I mean, I'm not really sure that's going to look like, but at the same time, we'll know about it in another few years from now.
Yeah, if longer, if yeah. So it's just crazy. Where it's just like they have no gameplay in their games. They're AAA Telltale Life is Strange games. Really is what they are.
Yep.
They made in the past, and it just kind of gives me very much like Supermassive vibes, where Supermassive came like blew up with Until Dawn. That was incredible, and then they went on their own and like they partnered with Bandai Namco to make these the Dark Tale anthology games, and it's just eh. Like Little Hope was better than the first game. I can't remember what it was called. Man of Medan was not very good. It was fine. It's like a 6 out of 10. Little Hope was like a 7 out of 10. House of Ashes comes out in about a month. Let's hope it's better. But I was like, man, I just like it's one of those things where I just wish that like good for you for like going on your own, doing your own thing, and you're successful at it. But it's like, man, I really wish that like Sony just bought you and you just kept making like you had like the budget to make these big games, and have multiple years to make these games instead of yearly or partnering with other people. But that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for the news this week. An hour and 20 minutes in. Gables, we're gonna jump into what we've been playing. Gables, I want to hear about what you have been playing.
Okay, so the only game I've really been playing this week has been more of Haven. It's been more of me going through and figuring out in terms of the story aspects and also in terms of the exploration stuff. I know for a fact that I'm getting more used to the combat side of things to where the directional pads and the face buttons more or less correspond to either like purifying like rust corrupted monsters or impact attacks or duo attacks, like combination of like two sets of buttons and stuff to have both of the protagonist and stuff like that doing a tag team attack on an enemy in that regards. But when it comes to like the actual like gameplay s type of stuff, like I told Tyler before recording and stuff, I play like maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most and stuff. More of it, I did get one piece of the ship and stuff. There's plenty of
Nice.
more I need to go forth and find, but at the same time, it felt like more. It felt like it was more of like a mystery sort of aspect of okay, what happened to this colonized like group that was here before you, and then you have to go through and like explore the different areas. I'm thankful that there's a map option now to where I can go to different areas in case like I haven't gotten the rust off of a complete like area over like another place or something that I can completely do that, collect whatever it is there and stuff. So I'm fairly happy in regards to where I'm at right now. I still need to explore a little bit further, but at the same time, I'm kind of interested in seeing like how more story elements are going to develop from there. But
Nice.
other than that, though, it's the same old with Destiny 2. I'm going through and trying to get the catalyst completed and stuff for the Aegis Scepter and stuff, which is an awesome trace rifle, and figuring out different types of build like around that with my Titan and stuff, to where the my super ability and everything else is going to be completely like overpowered and broken and stuff. It's actually kind of a fun little side project I have been doing. But other than that, though, and stuff, that's pretty much what I've been playing. Now, Tyler,
Okay.
tell me what's up with your game.
Yeah, so I have been playing a game just came out on Tuesday. I'm only a few hours in. Is Kenya, Ken, Ke-
Kina?
Kenya, Kenya? No, it's not Kenya. It's Kenya. Maybe it is Kenya. I I keep there was the thing I was doing to like remember the title of the game because I was saying it wrong forever,
Yes.
and now I don't remember what it was that I was using to pronounce the game. So I'm gonna say Kenya, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it's wrong. Bridge of Spirits. It is a PlayStation exclusive game. It's on PS4 and PS5. Remember Ember Labs? This is their first actual game they've ever made. The only other thing that Ember Labs has ever done is they made a Majora's Mask, like a fan created thing on YouTube.
Huh.
That I've heard excellent things about. I've yet to check it out, but apparently, I've heard about it. Remember hearing about it last year when this game was first revealed, and then I've been hearing like this week a lot of people are bringing it up like check that out for this. But so yeah, like I said, I'm only a few hours in. So this the best way to describe this game, Gables, is like imagine Pixar made a cute Dark Souls game,
Hmm. Okay.
and that's what this game is.
A cute Dark Souls
So,
game. Okay.
but like with some other like, so it is like so basically like you're playing as Kenya, and the kind of the gist of the story is that like, um, there's it's not like we've heard these stories like other ghost things before about like these spirits like they don't go to the other side. So they're kind of like stuck in the in between. But like as like the longer they're stuck um, in like our world, the in between stage, like the crazier and like more angry and dangerous they get. Um, and part of what Kenya does is she helps them get like to the other side essentially. She has to like do things and figure out what it is that she needs to do to get them to the other side. So basically, the main gist of the story is that like so there's like this one character that's passed away. I think Taro is his name, and you're trying to like but he's a very dangerous spirit, and you're trying to help him move on. But you have to find like these three things. You have to like find these artifacts that have like that can like help you like see his memories and help you like figure out ways to help him like get to the other side. But the gist of it is like it is very much like Dark Souls with Metroid, but also Pikmin in this game. So like part of it is like so Kenya she has like this staff that she can use that she uses like to solve puzzles. She can uh, like she can use it as a bow. She can use it to like you find these characters that are based like the Pikmin. They're called Rot. They're fucking adorable little creatures. Um, and you can use those to solve puzzles or you can use them to help you in combat like as you like
Right.
so like the real thing about this is like the combat is like it's simple and the way it works like R1 is light attack, R2 is heavy attack, circle is dodge, you do have L1 as a parry, and then as you go you unlock your staff can turn into a bow and arrow as well. And a lot of it is like it's very much like it reminds me of like a 3D Metroidvania in a lot of ways,
Huh.
where a lot of things connect, like the world slowly connects together. But there's a lot of puzzles. Like, oh, okay, well I can't like you see something over here. It's like okay, I know this is something important, or maybe not important, but it's like a side thing I could do, like kind of like unlocking missiles in Metroid or something like that. Like there's things like to upgrade your missile like capacity, kind of like that kind of thing. Where like okay, I know that later on I could do something here, but I can't do it yet, kind of thing. And everything just kind of ties in together in a way. But you can like use these rot like the Pikmin essentially to like help you to like move things around to like unlock new areas or use them to move things so you can solve puzzles. Um, the combat, like I said, it's simplistic in a way, but it's also very challenging. Like this is where like the Dark Souls, like it's like Like it's crazy how like difficult, like honestly, the combat is in this game. It is like, I mean, it looks like this game. Another thing is absolutely gorgeous. The cutscenes are stunning. The just walking around this game is unbelievably gorgeous. Like I mean, like I said, it feels like um, Pixar. Like the animation, this is like if Pixar made a fucking video game,
Right.
and that's what like the story isn't as great as like a Pixar. Don't get me wrong on that. Like at least so far, it's very like I don't know. It's not like there's not like a lot to it. It's not very heavy in a lot of ways. It's very light. But it's like you look at it like wow, like this is incredible what they've done with this. This is their first fucking game. But I'd say it took me a little bit to get into it. Like I'm a few hours in. I'm like about 3 hours in. The first, I would say, like for people that don't that are like on the edge about this or like sounds good to them, or if you have bought it, like give this a good hour. And I know that's I always hate when people say, oh, you give it 2-3 hours, you think it's good. This one is like you unlock the bow about an hour in, and once you unlock the bow, totally changes up the way the game the combat works. Adds way more strategy where it's like you're not just you don't feel like you're button mashing as much. Where like it adds way more strategy. Like I said, you can like as you like combat, you build up these like it's called I think it's called courage, where like the rot will help you in battle. But the like as you do damage, you build up your bar and you can send them to go attack other enemies. There's upgrades you can get. For you can like I said, you can like go around the world and like you can find things to like upgrade your health, like the maximum health, or upgrade. You unlock these things that can use to upgrade your skills. Like you unlock new skill trees or skill points where like you're like you send your rot and he attacks somebody, and if you hit him with a bow as they're being attacked, it will shoot off other bows and attack other enemies around it.
Okay.
Or you can like do a ground pound type of thing. You can use that to unlock different type of things. There's a bunch of other things you can like buy like hats for your rot to wear, which is just fucking adorable. You can like you can unlock them by like doing like little mini games, like battle mini games, or like little battle scenarios, or like there's puzzles you can solve. But yeah, it definitely feels like a very much like I said very early on. Um, and it's like a 3D Metroidvania, but like very cute, and the gameplay is very good. It's like I'm not trying to say this is like a it's not a game of the year contender, at least early on. This feels like a very good like 8 out of 10 game. It is digital only. It's $40 on PS5 at least. I think I don't know if it's on PS4 if it's $40, but like I said, it's only digital right now. But I think this is. I mean, it's better. I mean, I'm really enjoying it right now. I was concerned at first, um, but a couple hours after I unlocked the bow, having a blast with this game. I want to keep playing it. I just enjoy exploring the world, and just hanging out with the Rock because they're fucking adorable, and unlocking more hats for them. Um, but yeah, I'm having a good time with it, and
Hmm.
like the combat is like I said, it's very simple to use. It just gets very hard to master, and like every fight is a challenge where you will get fucked up real fast in these fights. And there's like difficulty levels you can do in it, and I've heard that like there are like the big concern about the big complaint about this game is like the spike in difficulty where like you just go like like you're doing okay, you're getting by, and then like you fight this boss and it's like 30 attempts, like you spend an hour trying to fight this boss and he's just whipping your ass kind of thing. And like that's the biggest complaint I've heard about it. But it definitely feels like in a way where like it feels like somebody made like, and like I mean this in a really positive way, like a game from like the 2000 era in 2021. Like you feel like almost like it almost feels like this is a remaster of like a 2000 era's game.
Huh.
Um, but like it's like I mean it's the first game, but like it's just like certain things are just like the platforming, like the 3D, like the platforming and stuff. There's a lot of platforming in this game. Um, it's kind of clunky, but like it's not like bad, but it's just kind of like it's not as like it's not like perfect, like or like as like works as well as you expect in other like 3D platforms. It's not Mario or anything like that. But it's like it's just definitely like it's like, this game is like it's really good. It's really charming in a lot of ways. Um, but it's not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. But I can't wait to keep playing more of it. Like I said, I'm off the next 8 days. I plan on playing the shit out of this until I beat it. And I heard it's not very long either. I heard you can beat it in 8 to 12 hours. It just depends on how much extra side content you want to do. in it. But I'm definitely, I can't wait to play more of this. But yeah, that's all I've been playing is just a few hours of that. And like I said, I'll talk about more next week. But Gables, I think that will do it for us this week. Yeah. Think. One second here. I'm trying to do too many things at once here. Anyways, thank you to everybody that listened to this week. Sorry for me going on and on about my upset stomach and all the other bullshit that I talk about. But if you've listened for a long time, you know I'm always good for a good 10-second or 10-minute ramble about something that's not important. But anyways, guys, if you really like this show, please check us out on YouTube, iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, anywhere that podcasts are on it. Like us, thumbs up, shares, 5 stars, comments. Shares, honestly, is probably the biggest thing you can do. But do that to go to all those places, do all that. Please help us out. The more people that download the audio version of this, the more money we get out of this. Not a lot of money. Like I said, it's very, very minimal. But it helps us out. We really appreciate it. And maybe Gables and I can buy coffee from Starbucks once a month. That's really that's the ultimate goal. Yeah, like I said, check us out on those places. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I was Tyler.
I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
And hey, Gables?
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.